All right, topic 5, lesson 7, subtracting expressions. Example 1, subtract expressions by using properties. Lita's family wants to put a tiled border around their swimming pool. What expression represents the total area of the border? So we want to know the area of the border. That's the question we're trying to answer. If you see here, they give you already the length and the width of the pool. And we know that the border is an additional 2 feet on all sides of the swimming pool. So the first thing we're going to want to do is find the area of the swimming pool. Because overall, I want just the area of the border, so I'm going to have to find first the area of the swimming pool to be able to add the rest. And if you remember, area was length times width. It doesn't matter which one you put first, but it's length times width. So I'm going to put 1 down here. I have 14 times 2x plus 14. Okay, I'm going to leave it like this for now, as that will be the area of the swimming pool. The next thing we're going to want to do is we are going to want to find the area of the pool with the tiled border. So if you look, the width of the pool was 14. But since we added 2 feet on this side and 2 feet on this side, it's going to be 14 plus 2 on either side times 2x plus 14. And you're looking at the length here. They added 2 feet over here and 2 feet down here. So if I add 2 more feet on either side, I'm adding that to my expression. So it's showing here on either side of the pool. So here's my original with 2 feet on one end, 2 feet on the other end. So now what you're going to do is combine like terms to simplify. So 14 plus 2 is 16, plus another 2 is 18. And 2x stays there because there's no other x's, but 14 plus 2 will be another 18. Okay, so that is now the area of the pool plus. So area of pool plus the border. And this is the area of the pool. All right. So now we need to find the area of just the border. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch colors of pens here for a minute. I'm going to subtract the area of the pool plus border, because if it's the area of the pool plus the border, we're looking at the area of the entire thing. So that's the pool and border from the area of pool. Okay, so number 3 is we're going to take this area of pool slash border and subtract the area of the pool. Okay. So I'm going to take this up here. I'm going to take this one because it's already simplified. 18 times 2x plus 18. So 18 times the quantity of 2x plus 18. Minus 14 times 2x plus 14. So from here, we're going to use what we learned in the last few sections. We're first going to use distributive property. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute 18 and multiply it by 2x, which will give me 36x. And then I'm going to take that same 18, because remember I have to multiply by everything in the parentheses, and do 18 times 18, which is 324. Okay, so this way I'm expanding out my expression. Now I'm going to take negative 14, because even though this was positive, we're subtracting it, so it turns it to a negative 14. And I'm going to multiply that by 2x, and I'm going to get a negative 28x. And now I'm going to take that same negative 14, and I'm going to multiply it by a positive 14, and I'm going to get a negative 196. We're now going to continue on with another skill that you already learned, and that was combine like terms. So here you distributed even the negative. So I'm going to look at here, and I'm going to see there's an x here and an x there. And then I have a constant and a constant. So I have 36x minus 28x, and a positive 324 minus a 196. And when I simplify these, 36x minus 28x is going to give me 8x. And 324 minus 196 is 128. And I cannot combine these two. I know it got a little small. But now the area of just the border is 8x plus 128. Now technically that's not done, because since we're talking area, we need, and this is a word problem, I need to write it as a word answer. So I got 8x plus 128. We're looking at this, we see that it's about feet, and area always means it's going to be feet squared. So your answer is the border is 8x plus 128 feet squared. The border's area is, okay. So when we're subtracting, we use distributive property. After we use distributive property, we combine to like terms. And then we wrote our answer there. Okay. So if you want to pause and do the try it, great. Otherwise, you can use it as a second example. So a frame holds a picture that is 15 inches long and x inches wide. So here's my frame. Or my picture. And I know that it's 15 inches long and x inches wide. The frame border is 3 inches wide around the picture. So that means an additional 3 inches. If I could draw well into scale, I'm adding 3 inches on all sides. What is the expression that represents the area of the frame border? So following these same steps, I'm going to find the area. Instead of the swimming pool, it's going to be of the picture. So the area of the picture, so the area of the, or the photo, sorry, or the picture, is x times 15. Doesn't matter if it's 15 times x or x times 15. In the area of the entire frame with the picture, so the entire area including the frame, would be x plus the 3 on the top. I'm going to put the 3 on this side this time, saying it's above it. Then the x, then the area, or the plus the 3 below it, times the 15. I'm going to write that 3 first. I have 3. Sorry, 3. So this x should have been this 3 and this 3. Confusing you. 3 plus 15 plus another 3 to get from here to here. So it'd be 3 plus 15 plus 3. And up to down will be the 3. I'm messing up again. This should have been, I'm looking at it wrong. So up to down should have been the 3 plus 15 plus 3, because this is the length. The width should have been 3 plus x plus 3. Okay, hopefully that's not too confusing. Okay, so I have the area of the entire frame minus the area of the photo. So now I'm going to simplify. I have 2 constants. So that's going to be 3 plus 3 is 6 plus x. Remember area, so it's times 3 plus 15 plus 3. So that's 15 plus 3 would be 18, plus another 3 would be 21. So this is written a little backwards than what we've learned. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it around and go 21 in front and 6 plus x. This is saying multiply what's in this parentheses by this because the parentheses are touching with no operation in between. This is also saying multiply. I just removed one of the parentheses. Since this is a group, it needs the parentheses. Since this is an individual, it does not. So I'm going to do distributive property, and I'm going to do 21 times 6, which will give me 126, plus 21 times x, which will give me 21x. Okay, now I got the area of the entire frame. I got to remember to bring this down. So I'm going to take this whole thing and bring it down. So it's going to be minus x times 15. It needs to be in the parentheses because the x times 15, you should have done one more step on this one. We'll make this a little bit easier instead of bringing it all down. Negative x times 15 is just going to be negative 15x. So I'm going to put 15x right here. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to subtract. There's only one constant, but there's 2 with a variable of x. So I'm going to take 21 and I'm going to subtract 15x. And I'm going to get 6 x's left. And I'm going to attach on the positive 126. We're talking in inches. It said each was an inch long. And since we're talking about area, it's going to be inches squared. All right, example 2, subtracting expressions with rational coefficient. Jada is comparing 2 membership costs from 2 gyms. What is the difference in membership costs after M months if she joins Be Strong instead of Zippy Health Club? So I want to see the difference of Be Strong. I want to know what the difference is. So difference is telling me subtract. So Be Strong And I'm going to find the difference. So I'm going to subtract that in Zippy Health Club. So be strong, is I know it cost me $24.99 per month. And they give me $10 off the first month. So that's a subtraction of 10. I'm going to go ahead and leave that negative right there. And I know Zippy's Health Club charges me $19.95 per month. $19.95 per month plus $49.95 to join. So if you notice, when we did addition, there was a plus sign right here, and all I did was take away the parentheses. I can't do that now. Because this negative it's saying it's subtracting this whole thing from this whole thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute the negative. For your first step here is distribute the negative. Since it's just a negative, you can pretend that it's like a -1 there. And I'm going to distribute that -1 to 1995M. And that's only going to change it to a -1995M. I'm now going to distribute that -1 over to the 49.95. And that's going to give me a -49.95. So it effectively changed. The negative on the outside changed all the signs on the inside. Okay, now that we've distributed the negative, that means the negative went to the first one and the second one inside. I'm going to rewrite the second or the first equation. And now you know what's coming. We're going to combine like terms. You know that I have two different m's and two different constants. So I have 24.95 or 99m minus 19.95m. And I have a -10 minus a 49.95. So I'm going to combine like terms, and 24.99 minus 19.95m is going to give me $5.04 difference per month. And 10 minus a 49.95 is a difference of 19.95. Right, there's no more I can do here. So that is your answer on that. Okay, so try it. Again, you can do it along. Seeing that there is a negative right here, I know I have to distribute a -1. So distribute -1. So -1 times 99 cents or 9.99x will give me a -0.99x. And if you see here, I'm going to distribute to a -0.13. A negative times a negative is going to turn that to a positive. So if you're distributing a negative, the sign that's attached to the number or the term will be opposite of what it is. Since this is negative, it turned to a positive. All right, now that we did that, I'm going to go ahead and bring down the other one. And I'm going to combine like terms. So 0.95x minus 0.99x minus 0.04 plus 0.13. So notice here, you might want to start using a calculator if you haven't already, because 0.95 is smaller than 0.99. Think of it as money. 95 cents is less than this. So you're going to have a difference of negative 0.04. Negative 0.04 plus a positive 13. You're going to have a difference of a positive 0.09. All right. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over. And example 3, subtract more complex expressions. So we're looking at 3 terms. These are all positive. There's no negative in front. I see a negative here. Remember, I'm going to have to distribute that -1. So negative times a positive 4 will be a -4. -1 times a positive 3j will make it a -3j. And a -1 times a -12q will make that a positive 12q. I'm going to go ahead and bring down the other equation. And I'm going to combine like terms. So I have a j and a j, a q, a 25 and -4 for constants. So 5j minus 3j, -2q plus 12q, and then a positive 25 minus 4. All right, so 5j minus 3j will give me 2j's. -2q plus a positive 12q will leave me with a positive 10q. And 25 minus 4 will leave me with a positive 21. All right, next example. Subtract expressions 3x minus n minus 1 and 2 minus 2x minus n. So since there's an and here, it's telling me to subtract. So I'm going to write this as 3x minus n minus 1 minus 2 minus 2x minus n. First thing, always look inside the parentheses to see if there's anything you can combine, but you cannot. Remember, when you're subtracting expressions, you need to multiply or distribute that -1 inside the parentheses. So -1 times a positive 2 will leave me with a -2. Negative times a negative will leave me with a positive 2x. And a negative times a negative n will give me a positive n. I'm going to go ahead and take off the parentheses because I already know I don't add within them. Right now I combine like terms. I have an x and an x, n and n, -1 and -2. So I have 3x plus 2x, a -n plus an n, and then of course a -1 and a -2. All right, so 3x plus 2x will give me 5x. If I had -1n and I add an n, they're gone. A -n plus 1n will be no more n's. So in these cases, we eliminated a variable. -1 minus 2 will give you a -3. So when you have a negative and a positive variable with the same coefficient, so the same number in front, it's just like having a 1 and -1 or a 5 and a -5. They're the exact opposite, so it leaves you with nothing. All right, try it. I'm going to distribute this negative. And I'm going to get a -7m. Negative times a negative is a positive 9. Negative times a positive. Oh, sorry. Negative times a negative is a positive 9. Negative times a positive will be a negative 4k. I'm going to bring down the 17 plus 4m plus 8k and combine like terms. So I have 17 plus 9, a 4m minus 7m, and an 8k minus a 4k. This will leave me with a 26. 4m minus 7m will give me a negative 3m. Do not drop your variable. And 8k minus 4k will give me a positive 4k. All right, there are, on this sheet anyway, you're not going to have it on yours, additional practice problems. It will be on the Pear Deck for you to practice. Let me know if you have any questions.